the F note disappeared on April 14, 2032. This fact, far from noticed by everyone, although one famous composer went mad just a couple of hours later, earning the dubious fame of the first victim of the Sound Eaters, set in motion a long chain of events that no one could even imagine. Unfortunately, even when disaster was already evident, many refused to believe in the true nature of what was happening, which often led to the saddest and most tragic consequences. The waves rolled gently over the beach's edge, erasing Chantal's footprints in the wet sand. The Baltic summer is sparse on good weather, and Chantal was always glad when the day was warm enough to stroll leisurely along the beach, watching the crimson disk of the setting sun gradually sink into the cold seawater. Seagulls flitted over her head, and occasionally one or the other flashed out from behind her, but Chantal was used to their antics and no longer flinched in surprise. Watching the birds' beaks open in total silence, Chantal wondered how the birds had managed to adjust to the lack of sound. Biology had never interested her, but Chantal remembered. During the initial assault of the Sound Eaters, scientists had been discussing the supposed extinction of species that depended on sonic communication. Some did go extinct, like whales and bats, but strangely enough, the overall loss to the biosphere was far less than that of humans. Chantal felt a gust of fresh wind on her face. Ruffling Chantal's blonde hair, the wind rushed on, rippled the tall, stiff grass on top of the dunes, and then tangled in the dark green crowns of the coastal pines, which swayed playfully in its touch. Chantal barely could recall now the whisper of the waves, the rustling of the grass, and the sound of the wind in the treetops, once a constant natural backdrop to the Baltic shores, cut through by the harsh cries of the seagulls. The Sound Eaters eliminated all. Like most people, Chantal was beginning to forget what sound was. But despite the past 12 years, she still retained fairly detailed memories of how it all happened. She was listening to music at the moment of the first Sound Eaters' attack, and at first thought that her headphones or player had broken. However, a few days later, when people all over the planet began to realize that the vast world of sounds began to diminish rapidly, and it was not the epidemic of progressive deafness to blame, because instruments also stopped registering sound vibrations at various frequencies. Chantal, by some sudden intuition, downloaded several guides on sign language from the internet. Only 6 months later did she realize how visionary her instincts had been. The elimination of sounds was not instantaneous all around the world. While humanity was struck by terror and panic, some anonymous genius wrote a simple program that recorded all the disappearances as they came in, summarizing them in an interactive scheme. As soon as this scheme went viral over the internet, it became clear that a strange cataclysm spread in waves from several centers, as if aggressive insects were invading from the central anthill, continuously mutating to absorb more and more sounds, plunging the world into absolute silence. It was then that someone dubbed these hypothetical creatures the Sound Eaters. Scientists have never been able to find an answer to the simple question: what is going on? They were babbling incomprehensibly about self-created systems of resonance disturbances, but could offer no practical solutions. Meanwhile, the civilization was irreversibly changing. After finishing with music, the Sound Eaters eliminated speech, clocks ticking, and working mechanisms noises, and then moved on to nature. After disposing of the range available to man, they also climbed the ultrasonic frequencies, killing the bats. And then, after a delay, they also dealt with infrasound. Planet Earth could now be safely awarded another name: Planet Silence. Mankind survived, albeit at great cost. Despair and turmoil had taken many lives and brought misery to even more. But civilization appeared to be more flexible than many had feared and predicted. Sign language and stenography have replaced speech. Lip reading did not catch on. In a world without sound, the habit of uttering words quickly died out, not to mention children who did not remember the noisy world, and therefore had no idea what articulation was. Chantal thought of her children, Maurice and Linda, whom she had taught sign language since the age of 2. Will they ever be able to hear the beauty of music or nature? A chill reeked from the sunset horizon, and though Chantal knew it wouldn't be dark for a while, she had to get home. She turned onto a path that led through the coastal pines to the parking lot where Chantal had left the car. The pine grove was divided by a small step parallel to the shore, a low limestone cliff not more than 4 feet high. The path there turned into a gentle concrete ramp built by the municipal authorities back in the days of the noisy world. A clear water spring trickled from a crack between the limestone slabs to the ramp's left. Water fell into a small niche and then ran like a tiny silvery serpent to the sea. When going for a walk at the seaside, Chantal sometimes took a bottle with her to fill it with cool, clear water from this precious nature gift. But now Chantal was too immersed in her thoughts and walked past the spring without stopping. Therefore, she totally missed the moment when the last ray of the setting sun pierced the cloud of water dust, drawing a 6-color rainbow with no purple in it.